Hi, my name is Dave Miller. I'm going to be doing a process speech for COM 101. This is speech number 2, and we're going to be talking about forklift safety and things you need to do before you operate a lift. I've spent most of my working life around forklifts, mainly in the shipping, receiving, supervision area. I've seen a lot of accidents, and I want to talk to you about what we need to do to be safe today. First thing we're going to discuss is the tires. We're going to look at the tread. First thing, look at the tread. Does the tire look good? Is it fastened to the rim? Is it trying to come off the rim? I've seen many situations where the tires come completely off the rim as they were driving down the aisleway. We don't want that to happen. As you go back toward the back of the lift, you're going to check your fuel system. You want to check your propane tank to make sure the connection is fastened and tight. There's no leaks. There's different types of fuel systems for lifts. There's battery powered. There's also diesel powered lifts. So no matter what the fuel system, you want to check for leaks. As you continue throughout your lift here, you're going to check the front of the lift. What we're looking for in the front is we're going to look for hoses that are checked and showing signs of wear. We're going to check for chains that are loose in here, and we're going to check that the hoses are all on the pulleys that make them go up and down, and we want to make sure that the links of the chains are all greased and working freely. As we go around to the front of the lift, you're going to check your forks to make sure they're where you need to have them when you're picking up freight, and also you're going to check your fork. You're going to look at your fork, make sure it's not cracked. Make sure it's not bent. A cracked fork could break it in the middle of picking up a load and cause a hazard and a safety issue. So you want to make sure if that fork is cracked, you want to replace it. Usually on forks, you want to replace them as a set. You don't want to replace just one, because you don't want one strong fork and one weak fork. So just keep that in mind. As we go through the compartment of the lift, you're going to check that your emergency brake is secure. It's on. You're going to check your seat to make sure it's secure on the lift. As I walk around to the back here of the lift, I'm going to check that my levers are all secure, but they also move like they're supposed to. They're free. So I know there's no restrictions when I start the lift and I want to move something, it's going to work. As I come back around to the front of the lift, I'm going to get on the lift here, and one of the main things is when you operate a lift, you want to fasten your seat belt. That is just one of the things I've seen the most, is people not fastening their seat belts on a lift. And when you drive a car, you fasten your seatbelt. When you drive a lift, you fasten your seatbelt. It's just something you need to get into your mind and do every day. As you look at your lift here, you're going to check to make sure your lights work, and I will turn those on and get off and make sure those are all working. So when you're coming down an aisleway and it might be dark at the end of the aisleway, you want to make sure that people can see you. Also, you want to make sure your horn works. That's one of the main things on a lift. If that horn doesn't work, you shouldn't be operating a lift, because there's too many pedestrians in these factories that that's the only way they're going to see you, if you honk. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. Make sure your horn works. If the horn doesn't work, you really need to down the lift. That's just one of the, as you're going through this lift, and this list is set out from Raymond that I'm using today in my daily checklist for the operator. But these are put out by all the major forklift suppliers, and all you have to do is call them, ask them, they'll send you one, and then you just give them to your employees. But you need to make sure you have these. You need to make sure the employees are filling them out properly, and you need to keep them on file. At the end of the week, you collect them, you put them in a file. You keep these for at least a year. That way you can have a maintenance record of, hey, we fixed this on this date in case there's a a situation where there's an accident and you need to go back and say, hey, when did we fix this? So, I mean, I've just touched on a few things about forklift safety and what you need to do before you get on a lift today, but there's so much more that could be discussed. So I want to thank you for your time, and you have a nice day.